Hey folks, welcome back to Failure Retirement. So, some of you may have been asking yourselves, like, what's failure up to here? What's happening with all these tools? Is there a plan? And so that's what I'm going to share with you today. There is a plan, at least for some of this stuff. It's pretty specific. So, what the deal is, and I'll show you here in a minute what I got. Guy's got two grandsons. They're just over 2 years old, 2 years, 4 months, right in there. So a guy, he went and hit an estate sale 6 months ago or something. I think a little before I started showing my tools on the YouTube. And there was not a bunch, but there was some new old stock stuff there, brand new. Some of it out of the package, some of it still in the package. And so it was so cheap, a guy he had to buy it. He couldn't leave it there. And so on the way home, it's like, I don't really need this stuff. What am I going to do with it? Thought about it for a few days, and I came up with this plan. So, what a guy's going to do, he's going to make a little toolkit for those two boys. And in the future, who knows how many more. If a guy gets lucky, I might be making a few more. But that's the plan, is to make kind of a little starter toolkit for those boys, because one of the things I got to thinking about, you can't hardly buy made in the USA tools now. And so what am I going to get them, when they're 15, just to pick an age, whenever I decide to give it to them, or if I'm not around, it's something that I hand picked for them that someone can give them down the line. So this is kind of what's going through my head. Some of this stuff is vintage, some of it is a lot newer, but still old enough to be made in the USA. And I just don't know. I don't know what'll be available, 10, 15 years from now, right? If I decide to buy them something, what am I going to get? And I know for a teenager, some teenagers are going to say, you got me a bunch of used tools, like, oh joy, right? I get that. But, and I don't know, we'll see. But I'm definitely going to put a note in each box explaining, what's here, why I did it, what the age range is, the history of these tools. Some of them, a few things will be my tools, out of my personal stuff that I've had for years and years and years. And then other stuff will be just, flea market, estate sale stuff. Um, and it's kind of going to run the gamut as far as the vintage of the tools. They'll have newer stuff, older stuff, whatever. So that's the story, that's the plan. That's where some of these tools, probably at least half the tools the guy's gathering up right now, are going to this project. Other stuff is just stuff that I've never had, older stuff and whatnot. So let me turn the camera around and I'll show you what we have so far. And keep in mind, like, there's a minimum of a decade before I give any of this stuff to either of those boys. And so some of it's not completely cleaned up yet. The toolboxes, for instance, are still kind of dirty, have some dust on them. There's not a lot of point in me getting all the dust off of them right now, getting them perfectly clean. It's going to be a while, right? So, a lot of the tools themselves are cleaned up, but the toolboxes, not quite so much. So again, I'll show you what I got here. Hang on. Okay, so here's what I've got so far. And keep in mind that I've got easily well in excess of a decade to get this little project finished. So first of all, we'll start off with the boxes. And I forgot something. I'll insert right at the end of this segment one more thing, two more things I have. Anyway, so got these two boxes. This one over here just so happens is my original toolbox that I got for Christmas, I believe. I'm going to say I was 13. Might have been 14, but I'm going to go more with like 13. And so the folks did the right thing, gave me this toolbox. It came with a little set. Someday I may try to kind of put that set back together. I'm sure I still have almost everything that was in it. And then this one here, I think I found this box at a flea market, maybe a estate sale. And so this, not the box, but the stuff inside this box is kind of what sparked this idea. So as you can see, we have a new old stock still in the bags. Got two little sets of wrenches here. The sockets weren't in the bags, but I don't know that any of them have ever been used. We've got three of the more modern pair head ratchets here. A lot of people don't like these because these levers apparently break off pretty easy. I have 3 or 4 of these myself that I use personally. I haven't broken one of those levers yet, but then I don't use my stuff for a hammer, so maybe that has something to do with it. So I don't really have all this stuff divided up, mostly because I kind of only have one set of this. But this new old stock is what sparked this whole process. So these came with it as well. These sockets, again, they're new old stock sockets that I picked up, I believe, at an estate sale. They were super cheap, too cheap to leave behind. And it's like once I was on my way home with them, it's like, well, what am I going to do with this? And then that's how this idea came to be. There's also, of course, because it's what failure likes, some vintage stuff. So I have a selection of vintage ratchets, the roundhead fine tooth, flying butterfly, and the early box head. Some of this stuff, well, all of these particular ones, and probably some others I'll pick up along the way, will go in these sets. These two hammers actually came out of the hoarder house. That's right, I haven't shown you everything came out of the hoarder house. This one just needs a little bit of cleaning. Don't know that it's ever been used. This one may have been used a little by the handle, but I mean, she's pretty mint. They're both Craftsman. So these hammers are going to go in there. And you know, some of this may be subject to change. I may find 2 matching hammers. These ones are different sizes. So I may switch that up. This one already has the matching ratchets in there. And then also, I haven't put these in the boxes yet, but these are complete set Flying V 1/2-inch drive that I've got cleaned and repolished. This one, I believe I'm missing the 1932 and the 2532, if I remember correctly. Again, Flying V, they match the other one. This one does have, I don't remember, I think that's the 9/16. It's a 6-point, sort of a placeholder for the time being till I find a 12-point. And then I have the 8-point sockets down here to go with them. Again, Flying V. I've got one set of 4, and the other one, as of yet, still have a single. So that's just a kind of a quick overview of the project the guys got going and where some of these tools are going, why I'm picking more of these tools than I usually have in the past. So I think this is going to be a cool project. Not all my friends agree, but just the fact that some of this, like this box was my original box, and again, it may get switched out at some point. But I think it's cool. It's made in the USA stuff that I've hand selected for these boys. Maybe they're into tools, maybe they're not. We'll see what happens when they get older, but they'll at least have a basic set they can use to work on their car or whatever the case may be. Okay, so here's what a guy forgot. So before this project started, Failure had already found this nice, pretty nice, some patina obviously, Crown logo hand box. It has the original tray in it. It's other than some patina, not a lot wrong with it. And then a few months later, after guy decided to do this, and before he turned up the second box that you've already seen, I came across this one. It's a little rougher than I would like, but it does have the tray. Found this at the flea market. I told guy was begging me to take it from him. I told him I only had $5 for him, and I ended up walking away with it. So kind of hard to turn that down, especially with the tray and it being the same as this other and with this project in mind. So I don't know, they may get these boxes as well. Maybe different grandchildren will get these in the future, who knows. I may have to repaint this one. This one here, when I got it, I did clean it, polish it up. And so that's part of the reason why it's shiny. This one I don't think is ever going to shine that much. So we'll just see what happens. All right, so now back to the end of the video. So there it is. So again, as always, I appreciate you guys watching. Have a good day, and we'll see you next time on Failure at Retirement.